All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to your Sunday morning urban yoga practice. I am obviously not Kristen. I'm Tommy here to guide you through your practice this morning. Some big shoes to fill in for her, obviously. It's kind of like if someone says, hey, you want to jump in for Mick Jagger or McCartney real quick. So honored to be sitting in for her this morning and guide you through this practice. We're going to work through a theme that I've been working through a lot in my own personal practice this week. We did a little bit of it on Tuesday, and that's just trying to be a little bit more grounded in the moment. I think we can all use some of that right now. And, it's just often that we're doing an activity in our lives, we're talking to somebody, and we're totally checked out somewhere else, thinking about something else we need to do, didn't do, did wrong, judging ourselves, whatever it might be. So the practice really becomes trying to not allow ourselves to be drawn out of the moment that we're in. So that's what we're going to try to get into today, exploring a lot of different grounding poses, different connection points with the earth that we don't necessarily have in our regular daily lives. So let's get into it. So we're going to just begin here in our comfortable seat. You can prop yourself up on a blanket or a block, a little tilt in that pelvis. I like to just offer here a mudra, if you will, just to give a little point of focus. So you can place one palm on top of the other, bring your thumbs together, kind of draw the pinkies in together, slide down, land in your lap or wherever is comfortable for you. You can keep the gaze soft or you can close those eyes. And let's just begin with our internal guide through our practice, which is our breath. So lift the chin slightly, begin to open up the throat as you draw the breath in through the nostrils, over the back of the throat. Begin to fill up the belly. Expand the sides of the ribs. Feel yourself grow a little taller in your seat. And then gently begin that exhalation to a count of 4, 5. Feel the shoulders begin to soften, fall away from the ears. When you exhale completely, take a moment, pause, begin to inhale again to a count of 4 or 5 or whatever is comfortable for you this morning. Feel that lift in your crown, feel the spine grow long. Exhale, soften the shoulders. Begin to feel a little bit of weight here in the palms. Feel a little bit of weight at the base of your spine. In yoga, those two opposing forces of rooting and reaching, the breath uniting these two. This is the union, this is the yoga. Feel your heart begin to stack up, line up over your hips. Feel your head begin to line and stack up over your heart. Just continue with the rhythm of this breath. If anything begins to draw you out of this moment, just return to this breath, return to this sensation of grounding, of reaching, just to pull you and draw you back inside. Deep breath in, fill up, extend. Deep breath out, root a little deeper. Feel the area right at the base of your spine. This is your root chakra. Maybe you can picture a soft, warm light there, red, or orange, or green, whatever color might be coming up in your visualization. Feel the base here, tap into the earth, feel all the various contact points of the earth throughout the hips. Feel this energy travel through the legs, the hips, the pelvis. Feel yourself become a little bit more grounded deeply here. Feel a lift in your heart, the root in your seat. Picture this visualization of this energy beginning to travel down out the base of the pelvis into the earth itself, drawing down through the crust towards the earth center, and begin to draw from this well of energy of the earth itself. Deep inhale, fill up. Exhale. Begin to tap into that energy even a little bit more. Let's just be here for a few more rounds of collective breath. Just honor your practice this morning. Back off when you need to. Listen to your breath. Let it be your guide. You are the ultimate guru. I'm just here to guide you. So listen to the body this morning. Push yourself if you like to. Back off if you need to. One more deep breath in. Feel the ribs expand along the sides. Breathe into the back side of the body. Exhale, soften everything. Soften the brow, soften the jaw and the throat. Broaden through the chest. Feel the heart lift. Gently blink the eyes open. All right, good morning. Welcome, everyone. Wow, it just got bigger. Cool. All right, let's just take a moment here. Place the hands along the outer edges of the thighs. Just begin to stir the torso around the center point of the body. Stay with that breath. And just begin to explore various points of contact through the pelvis. So rock back in your seat, tilt back in the pelvis, reach forward with the crown. The sides of the legs. If you want a little bit more, you can begin to deepen and drop the shoulders. And let's take that in the other direction. As little or as much as you like this morning. Right, wonderful. Let's come back up to center here. Let's just take some seated cat-cows. Roll those shoulders up, back, and down. Lift up, open the throat. Feel your tail drop down. Big inhale. On the exhale, sink back in your seat. Roll back, bring your chin towards the chest. The gaze down and in. Move with your breath, rocking forward in your seat. Inhaling up, opening, big sip of air in. Exhale, spread the shoulder blades apart. Take it back in your seat. If you want a little bit more, inhale, you can add on the arms. Lift up, look up, open the throat. Draw the shoulder blades down, cactus the arms, big breath in. Exhale, bring the palms out in front of you. Maybe a little side to side. Move with your breath. Inhale, open up. Draw the shoulders down. Exhale, take it back. Do that one more time. Inhale it back up. Draw the shoulders down the back. Exhale, sink back in the seat. All right, let's inhale the arms back up. Deep breath in. As we exhale, we're going to take that hand across the thigh. Take a moment here, roll that back shoulder back, nice and long in the spine. Inhale, lift the crown up. Exhale, twist from the base of the spine, look over the shoulder. Stay for another breath. Inhaling, grow taller. Exhaling, gently twisting deeper, just getting warmed up. Let the gaze follow. And release, back up. Inhale. Exhale, move slowly through the transition. Consciously roll the shoulder back. Sit up nice and tall. Lengthen. Exhale, twist a little deeper. Stay for one more breath. Gently unwind. Walk the fingertips forward. We'll go ahead and roll over the ankles. We'll set ourselves up here in a tabletop position. You can lay a blanket down if you need a little extra padding there on the knees. Have your blocks handy if you brought them along. We'll set up our shoulders directly over our wrists. Spread those fingertips nice and wide here. Let's tap the tops of the toes, wake up the tops of the feet. Those are going to be our anchors here this morning as we start to work through some of these poses. Drop the tailbone down, lift up, broaden across the chest. Big sip of air in. Exhale, push the floor away, draw the gaze down and in towards the belly button. Draw the belly towards the back of the spine. Push down into the tops of the feet. Inhale, move with the breath. Lift your tail, belly comes down, heart is open. Exhale, move with the breath. Spread those shoulder blades apart. Add on anything else that might feel good. Maybe looking over one shoulder, dropping a hip to one side or the other. Just getting warmed up. All right, let's go ahead and place that left hand directly in front of the face here. Press down into those tops of the feet, nice and firm foundation. Inhale, draw the other arm up, open up, circle out the wrist here. Deep breath into that arm that's lifted. Move slowly, consciously through your transition. Drop down, thread the needle, come down to that shoulder. Option here with the other arm, you can draw it out in front of you, stretch out through the chest. You can bring it to the back and the sacrum. Use that for a little bit more leverage as you open up through the shoulders. So the mental state, not letting ourselves getting pulled out of the moment. The physical state, just exploring all these various points of contact with the earth, with the energy. Drawing it into the side body, breathing into those spaces in between the ribs. Stay for another breath. Go ahead and bring that left hand in front of the face here. Use that to bring yourself back up. Stack and open the shoulders. Wave at the parade. Let it all go. Set yourself up. We'll take that to the second side. You can bring that right hand to the right underneath the face here. Inhale, open. Big breath into the side body. Exhale, move slowly, consciously through that transition. Drop yourself down. Just explore whatever feels good for you this morning. Deepen as much as you want to. Back off if you need to. Breathe into the back. Breathe into the kidneys. Breathe into those spaces we don't normally think about. Stay for one more breath. Bring that right hand along the face. Anchor that down. Let's take it up one more time. We'll go ahead and bring it back down. Tuck the toes under, stretch through the toes. Push back in the heels a little bit. Stretch out the wrist by turning and inverting the fingertips towards the face. Press down through the heel of the hand, and you're going to get as much stretch as you want the more you lean back. Work through both sides, invert towards you, lean back as much as comfortable. And then go ahead and flip that palm over towards the back of the hand, fingertips towards you, stretching out through the top of the forearm now. Both sides. Take your time. All right, bring that back to center. Bring the toes to touch. We're not going to come into a child's pose yet, but widen the knees just a little bit here. And we're just going to circle the hips a little bit. So just coming up and forward, maybe to one side and then the other. Drop the hips towards the back of the heels. And then let those knees come nice and wide. Begin to walk the fingertips forward. Maybe 10th of fingers here. Begin to sink down through the heart space, lengthening out through the front of the body. Then walk your fingertips forward a little bit more. Heels or hips towards the heels, melt down through the heart. Breathe into the back of the body. Exploring all these different contact points with the earth through the fingers, the tops of the feet, maybe the heart coming all the way down. Big breath in. Big breath out. Just let it all go. You can bring yourself back up. Swing the knees back around towards the center of the mat. We'll tuck the toes, or untuck the toes, sorry. Send those hips up nice and tall. Coming into our first downward dog of the morning. Take your time working into this dog. Pedal out through the feet, stretch through those calves. Take a moment here. Lift up one foot, place the big toe down, and fan all 5 toes out on that foot so you have a nice firm foundation. Do that on the other side. Big toe down, fan out the toes. They tend to crowd each other. Got them jammed into shoes all day. Nice spread, nice and spread wide through the toes. Lift up through the heels. Take a deep breath in. Maybe walk the fingertips out just an inch or two more. Exhale, sink down through the heels as much as comfortable. Keep that belly slightly engaged. Draw it towards the back of the spine. Take a big sip of air in. Take your time through the transition. Begin to walk the feet forward towards the hands. Press down through the heels. Stretch out the calves as you go. When you get where you're going, same thing. Spread those toes out nice and wide. Firm through the big toe. Fan out the rest of them. Root down through the heels. Picture these feet as a strong tree trunk planted into the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. Push the thighs back. Reach forward with the crown of the head. Nice flat back. Big sip of air in. Exhale. Forward fold, hinge at the hips, bend the knees, straighten the legs. Stretching out through the backs of the legs, waking up those hamstrings. You can have your blocks here if you need a little bit more lift. Inhale halfway. Big breath in. Exhale, let it all go. Go ahead and grab for opposite elbows. Draw the elbows down towards the earth. Let the head just be heavy and hang here. Shake out the head, yes, no. Releasing anything you're holding on to in the neck, the face, and the jaw. Take a look down at those feet one more time. Spread them nice and wide. Root them firmly into the earth. Begin to draw that energy up through the legs. Bend the knees and begin to straighten up. Slowly rolling up through the vertebrae, one at a time. When you get halfway, take a moment, roll the shoulders up and back. Extend those fingertips out nice and wide. Lift up, look up. Push the hips slightly forward. Draw the belly in. Big sip in. Gentle back bend. Exhale, take it all the way back down one more time. Bend the knees. Inhale, flatten out, straighten, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Bend the knees, take it all the way back up to that standing. Take our time. Bring the palms together, draw that in through the heart space. Nestle the thumbs in the sternum, let the heart come forward. Close the eyes here for a moment. Just notice how you begin to feel. Firm grounding through the toes, through the heels, lifting our crown. Conscious breath moving between these two forces. And keep the eyes closed or open them a little bit. Just begin to sort of explore through this contact point. Maybe stirring yourself in a circle, rolling into the outer edges of the feet, maybe bringing up the toes, maybe falling over a little bit, maybe coming up to the tiptoes. Just explore various points of contact here. All right, root down nice and strong. Inhale, lift up, look up. Let's go ahead and reach over with the left hand and pull that right arm over to the side. Root down through that right hip. Extend out and up. Breathe into that right side of the rib cage. Deep breath in. Exhale, sink a little bit more over. And shift your weight into the left leg. We're going to begin to take this right foot out, kind of tiptoe it out to the side a little bit. Maybe you're right here, just on that big toe. Maybe it pops up just a little bit. Just play with that balance. Go ahead and bring it back to center. Lift the arms back up. Take it on over to the other side. Reach with that wrist. Create some space in the side of the body here. Down through the left hip. Deep breath in. Shift your weight on over to that right leg. Tiptoe that left leg out. Maybe it pops up for a minute. Just play around with some of that grounding, balancing sensation. Fall out of it, get back into it. All right, bring it back to center. Inhale back up. Exhale, take it all the way down. All right, we're gonna step ourselves back into a low lunge. So go ahead and step back through the left leg. Take a moment here, build that nice firm foundation. If you have your blocks alongside you, those are great to bring the earth up to you, make this a little bit more accessible. Line that front knee up right over that heel. And you want to lengthen through that back leg. So you don't want to be directly on that kneecap. So if you can kind of inch it back a little bit, get in front of that kneecap, lengthen through that thigh. Pull up through the front of the body, drop down through our tail. Want a little bit more, you can inhale those arms up. Our anchors here are the top of that back foot and that big toe. So press them down firmly, nice and grounded here. Deep inhalation. Exhale, draw those elbows down the back. Maybe a little gentle back bend, open up through the throat. If you want a little bit more, roll the shoulders back, bring the knuckles together. Interlace those palms, draw the knuckles down, open up through the chest. Squeeze those thighs together. So they're not opening up, that'll give you a little bit more firming foundation. Inhale it back up. We're gonna take it just a gentle twist up nice and high. So we're just gonna take that left hand across, roll the other shoulder back behind you. You can place that back hand on the sternum there to give you a little bit more. If you want a little bit more, you can bring that front arm up, maybe slide the other arm down, taking a gentle back bend twist. Check in with that front knee. It's gonna wanna splay open, zip it back in a little bit. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Take our time. Place hands down on the mat or on the block. Go ahead and bring that back knee in a little bit, tuck the toes. We're gonna sink the hips back. Lengthen through that front leg. Nice hamstring stretch here. It's not about getting the head down towards the knee. You might just be up here, sinking down, whatever's comfortable for you this morning. Lengthen through the crown of the head forward. Gently take those hips back towards the heel. Stay for a breath. All right, let's go ahead, take our time, bring ourselves back up to center. Lift that back knee by tucking the toes under. We're gonna drop that heel down perpendicular to the mat. We're gonna use our core strength. We're gonna come all the way up into our warrior two. Take your time, set yourself up. Heel to arch alignment here. Spread those toes nice and wide. Nice and firm in that big toe. Roll the shoulders open, lift up through the chest. Gently begin to sink yourself down. Check in with that belly button, draw it in towards the back of the spine. And a little lift in your pelvis. So you're squeezing to the inner thighs just a little bit as you're sinking down a little deeper. Let's reverse our warrior. Up and over, move slowly and consciously through your transition. Open up through the chest here. Options with that back arm, slide it down the leg, maybe bring it around, maybe bind, whatever's feeling good for you. Firm, stable. All right, let's come up and out of that, sink back down into our warrior two one more time. Draw that front arm forward, wrap the other arm under, taking it into eagle arms. If that's not available for you, you can just have your arm. All you're really trying to do is spread the shoulder blades apart. So if you can't get into the bind, you can still just use those arms just to open up through the backs of the shoulder. All right, lift up through the elbows. Big inhale here. Exhale, sink in a little deeper to that front knee. Stay for another breath. Inhale, open up. Straighten through that front leg. Dip that front hip, reach it forward. Take it into Trikonasana triangle pose. Have your block available if you need it. We're looking to stack those shoulders. So try to roll that back shoulder back so that you're not dropping it in and down. So as much as you can, open up. If you want a little bit more, you can look up under the arm. Feel those firm points of contact with the earth. Keep the belly, the tree trunk stable. Keep that breath moving. Stay for one more breath here. Bend that front knee. Let's take it to extended side angle. We'll slide that elbow onto the knee. Again, roll that back shoulder back. Take the other arm up and in front of you, and take it up and over the ear. Check in with that back knee, kind of pull that kneecap up and in just to engage a little more. Make sure you're not sinking into that front shoulder. It's on that leg, but you're up and out of it. All right, stay for one more breath. Use that core strength. Let's take it all the way up. Let's turn the toes in. Bring your blocks along. You can place them in the center here. So toes slightly pointed in, heels slightly pointed out. Let's inhale, just roll the shoulders up and back. Push the hips slightly forward. Big inhalation. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Gently let the head be heavy and fall down. Options here with the arms. You can bring them to blocks. You can be on your forearms here. You can be halfway lifted, whatever's comfortable. If you can, just let that head hang freely. Let gravity do its work here. Release the neck. This is a great release for the central nervous system. Just let everything go. You kind of rock back and forth from the toes to the heels. If you need a slight bend in the knees, go ahead and do that. Don't hyperextend anything. Let's take a moment here, halfway lift up. So just reach forward with the crown of the head, push those hips back. Deep inhalation. Exhale, sink in one more time. You can also grab for the backs of the ankles, backs of the calves. That gives you a little bit more stability there. Let's play around with a twist. Let's go ahead and place the right hand directly in front of the face. Can be on a block here if you need a little bit more lift. Inhale, we're gonna draw the other arm up across the chest like you're drawing back a bow and arrow. Lift up, look up, circle the wrist. Stack the shoulders. Firm foundation in those big toes, the heels. Deep breath in. Exhale, take your time, switch on over your other side. Plant firmly down through that palm. Begin to open up, rotate through the chest, draw the bow across the chest, lift it up, look up. Big breath in. Big breath out, release, let it all go. Halfway lift, one more time. Inhale. Exhale, lower it back down. We're going to turn all the way over to the other side. We're going to drop into that low lunge on the second side. Bring those blocks along with you. As I mentioned before, lengthen through that back thigh, so try not to be directly on that kneecap. If you're turned around completely and you want to move around so you can see me cool, but you know where we're going. Feel the force. Just go with it. All right. Inhale those arms up. Down through the tail, up through the crown. Draw those elbows down. We used to do a class blindfolded, which was really cool in training. People all over the place. All right. Big sip of air in. You want a little bit more, roll those shoulders back. Interlace the palms. Draw those knuckles down. Lift up through the chest. Breathe here. Inhale, take it back up. Exhale, twist, nice and high. Roll that back shoulder back. Bring it across the sacrum. Look over the shoulder. If you want a little bit more, you bring the other arm up and over, slide the other arm back down the leg. One more breath here. Exhale, slowly unwind wherever you're at. Hands down to blocks or alongside the mat. Tuck that back toe. Get yourself set up where you can straighten out through that front leg and get a nice hamstring stretch. Bring blocks back alongside you, give you a little bit more firm foundation. Drop back through those hips. And keep those toes drawing up towards the kneecap. Lengthen on your inhale. Sink in a little deeper on that exhale. Take your time. Start to come up and out of it. Place the blocks off to the side. Tuck those back toes under. Lift up through that knee. I'm going to drop down through that heel. Bring ourselves all the way back up. Warrior two, second side. Take a moment. Get yourself set up. Heel to arch alignment. Strong through the back edge of that foot and the big toe. Roll the shoulders open. Reach front and back. Exhale, sink in. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Move consciously through your transition. Take that other arm back up and over. Breathe into those spaces in the ribs. Your core strength, bring you back up. Straighten through that front leg. Reach forward, dip that front hip. Slide down, take it up into triangle pose, Trikonasana. Stack the shoulders. Everyone's looking great. One more conscious breath here. Look towards that front foot. We're going to bend that knee. You need to drag that back foot in a little bit if it got a little bit away from you. Options here, extended side angle, elbow to knee, hand to block. A lot of times we take that arm back up and over to can kind of get hung up on the shoulder. So take it in front of you first, then up and over that knee. One more big breath in. Big breath out. All right. Go ahead and release that front knee. Turn the toes back to center. Same thing we did before. Toes are in, heels are wide. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. One more breath. Let it all go. And then we're going to begin to heel toe the feet in towards each other. Kind of work them in together. We're going to come into a Malasana pose. So grab your blocks if your hips are tight. Maybe down through our tail. We want the front side of the body nice and open here. So roll the shoulders back. You can bring the knees or the elbows in on the inside of the knees. Place the thumbs along the sternum. If that's a little too much for you, you can come down to child's pose. We're just getting a nice hip opener here. So whatever's comfortable for you this morning. If this is too intense, don't do it. Let's place the left arm to the inside of that knee. Draw the bow back across the chest. Open up, look up, lift up. Stay for one more breath. Take it back to center. Switch sides. Bring the elbow to the inside. Open up through that hip. Draw the bow across. Open up. All right, let's go ahead and release there. Place the hands down. Lift up through the hips. Bring the feet back together. Bring yourself all the way back up to standing here. Let's just shake all that out. Everybody doing okay? All right. It's warm out here. All right, we're gonna start cooling this down here in a second, guys. Everyone's looking really, really good. Let's just play around with a little quick balance here. Get yourself set up. Spread those toes nice and wide. Mountain pose. Extend the fingertips out towards the earth. Draw slightly up through the kneecaps. Tuck those lower ribs down and in. We'll draw in through the belly towards the back of the spine. Lift up through that crown nice and tall. Just feel all that energy that we began creating cascade down through the body. All right, let's go ahead and bring palms back together. Let's go ahead and shift weight into that left leg. We're going to draw up through that right knee. Push those palms together, create a nice center line of energy in the body here. If you fall out of this, no big deal, just get up and out. Inhale, arms up. If you want a little bit more, come along for the twist. If not, stay where you are. Go ahead and transition. Whoop, I'm gonna fall over. Cross the body. Maybe that other arm comes back behind you. Just take a moment to challenge yourself. Play around a little bit. Let's not take it too seriously. It's Sunday. All right, bring it back in. Fall out of it, wobble. Let's take it to a tree pose. Open up through that hip. Options here. You can be down here, and this could be your tree this morning. Nice rooted tree. You can bring it up to the inside of the thigh. Just don't have it directly on that knee. All right, roll the shoulders back. Palms out to the side. Maybe you're a cactus. Maybe you're a palm tree. Play around with whatever shape feels good. Wobble. Palms back to center. Let it go. Shake that leg out. All right. All right. Last bit of balancing, and then we're going to really start to cool down. Everyone's doing great. Let's take that to the other side. Shift the weight into that leg. Press those palms together. Draw the knee up. Squeeze that into the center of the body. Nice and strong through our tree trunk. Inhale, arms up. Take it across the knee. Gentle twist here. Maybe that other arm comes out. All about the journey, not about the perfect pose. Take it back up. Palms in. Take it to your tree, second side. There I go. Tough in the grass too, kind of uneven on the surface, right? All right, roll the arms out to the sides. Happy cactus. Swaying palm. Maybe the gaze goes up. Let it all go. Wonderful, guys. All right, let's shake it all out. Let's just inhale up, big breath in. Exhale down. No tricks. Come all the way down. Just have a seat. We'll work through some forward folds, some twists. So have that blanket there. Really helpful to have a blanket if you have a tough time, or even if you have an easy time doing forward folds. Just make everything a little bit more accessible. All right, extend those legs out nice and long. Give a little shake there to the backs of the thighs. And then just take a moment to kind of wiggle your tush back and forth. Get in front of the sit bones. So if you're sitting back in your seat and you're trying to fold, you're not going to be going anywhere. So you want to work into the front of your seat. And I'll say this a lot, is you want these toes nice and engaged. So push through those heels, draw the toes back towards the knees. Those are going to keep your knees nice and safe as we work through these. You can have your blocks alongside here if you need them. We're going to inhale, lift up. Exhale, reach out and forward. Sink down, push down through the backs of the thighs. Kind of shimmy those heels maybe a little bit further and sink in a little bit more. Inhale, you can come up kind of halfway, lift with the crown of the head forward. Breathe into that space in between the shoulders. Exhale, sink in a little deeper. Inhale, push out through the heels, keep those toes drawn in, lift up one more time. Let's do that one more time. Sink forward, reach down, let the head come down last, and just melt down. All right, gently begin to unwind, roll up through the spine. Go ahead and drag that left heel to the inside of that thigh. Again, strong in that front foot, push through that heel, keep those toes nice and engaged. Inhale, lift up, rotate the sternum right over that leg. Exhale, sink in. A little easier when it's one leg, kind of nice. If you want to play around a little bit more, you want a little bit more of a twist, you can reach that hand to the outer edge of that leg. Inhale and lift up a little bit more. Exhale, sink and twist. Stay for one more breath. Inhale brings you back up. Lift up, flex that foot. Exhale, we're going to twist back behind us. Take that palm across the thigh. That foot flex. Roll that back shoulder back behind you. And place that palm on the outer edge of that, or the top edge of that thigh. Get a little bit more leverage there. Look over that shoulder. If you'll want a little more to come along for the ride, you can roll to the inside of that extended leg. Firm down through that back arm. Lift those hips up. Open up through the chest. Push the hips forward. Gentle back bend. If you feel anything pinch, immediately get out of that. Move slowly through the transition. Take it all the way down. Wonderful. Draw that knee back up and in. Options here with our other twists. You can have that leg on the inside of that thigh. You can bring it across that thigh. You can drag the other heel in. So you can be here, which is going to be a little easier on the hips if they're tight. You want a little bit more. This is a nice compact shape. Kind of draw those heels in alongside the hips. Create a little bit of space here in the front side of the body. And down through that tail, inhale up, lift up nice and tall. Big breath in, we twist from the base of the spine. Wrap that right arm around, roll the other shoulder back. Lift, inhale, exhale, twist, look over that shoulder. Let's take one more breath here. Gently unwind from the head all the way to the base of the spine. Extend both those legs long. Give a little shimmy, a little shake. Let all that go. Second side. Drag that heel in towards the inner thigh. Sit yourself up nice and tall. Inhale, lift up. Sternum over leg. Exhale, sink in. Play around. If you want a little more, deepen it with a twist. All right, gently unwind there. Inhale brings you back up. Keep that foot flexed, nice and active. Exhale, twist, roll the shoulder back. Push out through that front heel. Rolling. All right, stay here. You want a little bit more. Roll to the inside of that foot. Push down through the heel of that hand. Roll up, lift up through that hip. Gentle back bend. Deep breath in. Exhale. Gently lower back down. Back to center. Help that knee up and in. Set ourselves up. Same way you did on that first side for that second twist. So from here, cross it over, drag it in, whichever's feeling good. Nice compact shape. Lift up through the chest, nice and tall. Inhale brings you up. Exhale, wrap it around. Roll the shoulder, create some space in the front of the body. So for one more breath, inhale nice and tall. Exhale, twist a little deeper. All that go. Extend those legs out. Do the one more shake. All right, drag both heels in into Baddha Konasana. So you're going to get as much or as little stretch as you like. The more you have the legs out, a little less intense it's going to be. The more you drag those heels in towards the pelvis. So take a moment here, and if your shoulders are closed, take a moment, roll them up and back, open up, broaden through the clavicles here. You can grab big toes with peace fingers. You can grab for outer edges of the feet. I'm going to lift up nice and tall here. Root down through that tail. Feel that grounding. Feel that lift in your crown. Big sip of air in. The exhale, walk the fingertips forward, whatever degree is comfortable for you. You feel that stretch, inner hips. You need to sink in. You can have your blocks nearby, forearms. Lots of options. It's getting toasty out. I'm just the one in the sun. You told me, Johnny. I usually teach 8:15, so this is a little later in the day for me. I'm like, normally fine, right? All right. It's all a practice, right? All right. Stay for another breath wherever you're at. Walk the fingertips back and in. Help yourself out. Go ahead and grab for the outer edges of those knees. Bring yourself up. Let's take it into a boat pose here. So a little bit more action before we start completely winding down. All right, so for boat pose, we do want to be a little bit more on that tail instead of being in front of the sit bones. Sit back in your tail, lift up through that chest. Just bring the knees in slightly. Bring the toes down here for a moment. Grab for the backs of the thighs, and then begin to lift up a little bit with the heels. That might be enough for you this morning. Just playing around with that point of balance. Belly's nice and engaged. Squeeze those knees together like you have a block in between. Maybe you bring the arms out to the side. Maybe one leg comes up. Maybe both. Maybe you play around. Full boat. Maybe you go into half boat. Party boat. All right. Hang it. Hold on for one more breath. All right, guys. Wonderful. Let it all go. And roll on over the ankles. We're going to come all the way down. And just start to really melt into the mat. Play around with that grounding a little bit more. You can have a blanket here across the hips if you need it. Come all the way down. Wiggle yourself back and forth on that pelvis. Go ahead and make a pillow here with your hands. Turn your cheek to one side. Bend the knees. Take the knees out a little bit wide. And then just go side to side here. Windshield wiper the legs. Just getting a release in that low back. Letting everything go. Playing around with a totally different point of contact now. With our grounding practice. Feeling good. Feeling loose. All right. Let's let that all go. Straighten the legs back out. Let's slide those elbows forward, coming into Sphinx pose, working through some back bends now. So take a moment, wiggle yourself back and forth on those hips, nice and long in those thighs. Tops of the feet are our anchors here, nice and strong. Try not to sink into those shoulders, so bring yourself up and out. Belly button slightly pulled up off the mat. And a slight pull with your heart through your shoulders forward. So press down and just pull your torso through your shoulders just a little bit. Take a big sip of air in. Exhale, look over one shoulder. See if you can see those toes in the back. Breathe into that space. Back to center. Big sip of air in. Exhale, back over other shoulder. Inhale, back to center. Press down into those forearms. Deep breath in. Exhale, draw your gaze down and in. Maybe you bring the belly up off the mat just a little bit. Maybe your thighs come up. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, go ahead and make a pillow with your hands. Drop that cheek to the other side. Little rock side to side on those hips. Let the low back release. These back bends are really, really important for our core strength. When we're doing those balancing poses, we always think of just our core as our belly, but working through that backside of the tree trunk, keeping it nice and strong. All right, go ahead and release the palms alongside the body. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Begin to lift up through the chest. Squeeze the thighs together. Press the fingertips back towards the feet. Gentle back bend here. One more sip of air in. Exhale, palms come forward, lower back down. Rock those hips side to side. Let it all go. Take a deep breath in here. Just feel the backside of your body lift up off the mat. Feel your heartbeat beating against the mat. If anything begins to draw you back out of this moment, just return to that breath, return to these sensations. Stay with it. All right, one more back bend. You can do the same thing here. Take those fingertips along back. Reach it back. If you want to add on a little bit more, squeeze the thighs together. Maybe the legs lift. They're probably shaking on you. Maybe you add the arms, kind of come into an airplane arm. Lift up through the chest a little bit more. Big breath. Stay for 1, 2, 3. Let it all go. Push yourself all the way back. We're coming into a child's pose. Nice counter pose to those back bends. Move slowly and consciously. Knees go wide. Hips come back. If you've never done child's pose with blocks, highly recommend it. It's really nice to create some space in the front side of the body. You can do that by sinking down. You can also bring them in, drop down through the elbows, which is a really nice tricep opener. It's a different exploration. We'll be here for a few breaths, so take your time. Wiggle your hips back and forth so you can get nice and comfortable. Another option is if you've never done child's pose with a blanket under your heels, if your hips are super tight, you can roll up a blanket, place it right on heels here, sink down, and it gives you a lot more support, which is really, really nice too. Feel the front of the body melt into the mat. Stay with that breath. Okay. Slowly begin to bring ourselves up. We're just going to go ahead and roll ourselves all the way back over onto our backs here as we begin to wind down our practice completely. You can have those blocks available if you need them. Turn this. All right. Just draw those knees in towards the chest. Draw that tailbone down. It's going to want to pop up. So draw down through the tail and squeeze those knees in towards the chest, towards the ribs. Take a deep breath in. Release slightly. On the exhale, draw the tailbone back down. Draw the knees back in. All right, go ahead, place the heels down right alongside the glutes here. Keep them in as much as possible. Squeeze those knees together, keep them nice and firm. We're gonna come into a bridge pose. So we're gonna bring our palms alongside the heels here. And we have options. So we lift up through our hips, keep that belly button engaged. If you want a little bit more, you can slide the shoulders, points underneath, bringing elbows together. You can come into a little bit of a bind there. You can also have your block here for a supported bridge, which is really nice. It can be on various settings. You play around with whatever feels good for you this morning. Hips should be feeling nice and open. Wherever you're at, maybe stay for one more breath. Exhale, lower down. We'll come through that one more time. Maybe you want a different variation. Maybe you want to add the arms, inhaling, lifting up. Maybe you want to do a few, dropping back down. Whatever feels good. All right. Let's go through one more sequence or hold it for one more moment. All right. Exhale back down. All right, we're gonna roll over to one side. Let me show you guys this real quick so that if you roll over the side, you can see where I'm going. So we're gonna be rolled over to our side. We're gonna be all the way down. We're gonna have one arm extended out. And we're gonna have the front of the body parallel to the mat and the knees are bent to kind of a 90-degree angle. And we're just gonna come into a twist, sort of a reverse twist. So we're gonna be laying down here. Then we're gonna draw that arm back across the body and open up through the shoulders. So keep the knees down. Keep the knees together as much as possible. If one pops up, all good. But we want those shoulders nice and firm against the earth here. So just a little bit of a different way of getting into a twist. Like an open book. Stay for a breath. Deep breath in. Exhale, bring that top hand back across, close the book up. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, draw it back across. Maybe find a little bit more space. Stay for one more breath cycle here. Breathe into those crevices we don't normally breathe. Close on up. And then just roll yourself on over to the other side. Do the same thing, second side. Take a moment, get yourself set up. Front side of that body, nice and perpendicular to that mat. Knees are bent at a 90-degree angle. Close the book up. Just take a moment there. Feel that firm foundation of the earth supporting you. And then take your time as you draw that arm across the body. Open up and let those shoulders just fall and melt into the mat. That other top knee pops up a little bit, all good. Feel the back side of the body, firm foundation. Take an inhale here. Go ahead and close back up. Let's do that one more time. See if you can find just a little bit more space. Move slowly, consciously through the transition. Inhale, open everything up. Let the shoulders fall across. Breathe into that heart space. Deep inhale here. Exhale, go ahead and take it all the way back across. All right, roll yourself back over to your back. Let's take a nice happy baby here as we wind down to our practice. So let the knees open up nice and wide. Heels come up towards the sky. Flex and draw those toes back towards those knees. You can grab for the outer edges of the feet, or you can grab for those big toes with the peace fingers. And you want to draw those knees down towards the armpit. Draw your tailbone down. Your tail is going to want to sort of pop up. So you want to draw that bottom of the back down. Open up through the chest. Squeeze those elbows or the knees, bending the elbows down towards the armpits. A gentle rock side to side. Release that low back. You want to straighten one leg out, and the other. Just notice this firm, grounded position. Notice how the body feels. Go ahead, bring the knees back in. Give yourself one final squeeze by wrapping around the shins or right across the knees there. Squeeze that tailbone down. Maybe bring the nose up towards the knees. Squeeze everything in a little bit more. Deep breath in. Exhale, let everything go. Extend the legs out long. Just let the palms face up towards the sky. Let those ankles just fall open and let that opening travel up through your hips. You can be here, you can be in a seated position if you'd like. Nothing left to do but to enjoy the benefits of our practice. Enjoy the yoga buzz we created. Let that energy just begin to settle in the body. Just let your heartbeat settle into your chest. Just do a final body scan. Is there any last bits of tension you're holding in your brow? Soften the eyes and the sockets. Anything you're holding in the jaw, let it go. Let the heart just melt down into the mat. Relax the hips and the pelvis, all the way through the fingers and toes. Just a few final moments here to remain in this grounded presence. If anything begins to draw you off your mat, out of this moment, just return to your breath. Return to these sensations, the sights, the sounds, the temperature on your skin. Everything else can wait. Allow me to call you back in a few moments. All right, let's begin to welcome sensations back into the body. Begin to deepen your breath and wiggle fingers and toes, micro movements of maybe raising the eyebrows, moistening the lips. If you're on your back, you want to take one final full body stretch. Slide those ankles together. Bring those arms up overhead, bring the palms to touch. A deep breath in here. Nice full body stretch. Your exhale, draw those knees in towards the chest. Give yourself one final big squeeze here and roll off to your favorite side. Maybe you want to pause there for a moment, just feeling that firm grounding that we created. The earth supporting and holding you up. And when you're ready, keep the gaze soft or the eyes closed, and we'll make our way back up to a comfortable seat where we begin. Just ending our practice here in this final comfortable seat. Just feel the length in your spine, feel that root in your tail and that lift in your crown. Feel the heart align over those hips and the head align over the heart. Center line of the energy, drawing down back into the earth. Just take a moment here to thank yourself, taking some time for some self-care, some solitude and some surrender. Just inhale those arms up overhead.
I can hear you.
Lift up and look up. Get a deep breath in. Exhale, draw that energy down into the heart space. Roll those shoulders back. Just nestle those thumbs against the heart here. Just feel the heart beating. I'd like to thank you all for letting me guide you through your practice today. It was an honor to sit in for Kristen. I teach on Tuesday, so come check me out. Namaste. If you're new to Urban Yoga, please visit us at urbanyoga.org. We have a virtual tip jar. We are a donation-based class. You can throw some cash in the till here, or you can donate there online. You can also see all our wonderful classes that we have. Lots of classes in the park, also at the DAP Center in the tent. I teach on Tuesday morning, so come visit me. It was wonderful to see you all. Have a wonderful Sunday, everybody.